The fantastic film Finch begins with the main character, Finch, in a protective suit, rummaging through the abandoned stores of a desolate city in search of food. He finds several cans of food in a looted grocery store, but a sandstorm approaches and Finch has to return to his shelter. It is then revealed that the main character appears to be suffering from radiation sickness due to living in a high-radiation environment, and he reads books about radiation poisoning. Before he can implement his plan, Finch plays with his dog. But what is the essence of his plan? With the help of his small robot assistant, the main character not only searches for supplies in abandoned shelters and stores, but also digitizes books. Finch intends to upload the most important knowledge, all the available information gathered by humanity, into the android robot. Why does he need a new robot? The point is that Finch is dying, and he is trying to build a new, albeit mechanical, friend for his dog, Goodyear. It is expected that after Finch's death, the robot nicknamed Jeff will take care of the dog. But there is a standard problem. It is not enough to simply build the robot. It also needs to be taught basic things about artificial intelligence so that Jeff not only knows some standard facts but can also use the knowledge. In other words, it should be self-aware and able to make decisions. However, Finch programs Jeff's memory with the basic laws of robotics, as well as adding a fourth law, to take care of the dog at any cost. However, Finch does not have time to load all the available information into Jeff's memory, only 70%. A storm is approaching the bunker where the main character and his dog have taken shelter, and the storm will last for at least 40 days. Finch simply does not have enough time, so he sets off on a journey to the west, to another part of the desolate country, San Francisco, with his dog and robots, hoping that it will be safe there and that he will have time to teach Jeff the most important things. On the road, Finch teaches Jeff the basics of survival, how to operate an old, upgraded van, and tells different stories, hoping that the AI will learn quickly. Jeff tries to establish a connection with the dog, but the dog tries to ignore the new friend or perceives all attempts to establish contact extremely hostile. During the journey of the main characters, we learn a lot about the post-apocalyptic world they are in. The gist is that during the day, the sun literally fries the surface of the earth, while at night, the opposite happens and it gets very cold. This is because a powerful solar flare burned through the ozone layer of the planet, literally turning it into a cheese with many holes. The next flare destroyed much of the functioning electronics, leaving humanity without the internet and familiar means of communication. As a result of the catastrophe, society split. Some people preferred not to notice the problem and tried to close themselves in shelters. Almost all the hermits are dead. Others went insane with panic and started looting and killing. But Finch, preferring to stay away from the survivors whom he sees only as a threat, is convinced that the disaster simply made everyone show their true faces. For example, the main character, an engineer and programmer, considers himself a coward. Finch's story of how he found Goodyear vividly illustrates the situation. One day, towards the end, the main character went to a looted store and found a pack of macaroni. But then a mother and daughter with a cart of belongings arrived. Then an unknown attacker killed them both. Finch was afraid to intervene at first, and then it was too late. And in the dead girl's backpack, he found a puppy that became his reason for living. It is not directly stated, but it can be assumed that Finch had no family of his own. When Finch becomes very ill, he jokingly suggests to Jeff to call a doctor. The worried robot, wanting to help, understands the request in his own way, and goes to get medicine from the nearest abandoned hospital in one of the semi-destroyed cities they pass through. During the search in the hospital, Finch's little helper robot dies, but Jeff finds supplies. Barely recovering, Finch realizes what happened and sets out to find Jeff. It turns out that the naive robot almost fell into a trap. The main characters try to escape, but mysterious strangers in a car pursue them. As night falls, Finch begins to panic and smashes the solar panels on the van's roof in an attempt to drive under a bridge. But thanks to Jeff's resourcefulness, they manage to hide from the pursuers. Furthermore, during the journey, we learn a little about Finch's past. The point is that he grew up without a father, everything that reminds him of his parent, the same postcard with the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco depicted on it. As the main character Jeff bitterly admits, he never really got to travel anywhere. First there was no time to travel, and then the apocalypse happened. He never got to see his father either. Earlier, during their travels and a conversation, Jeff tells Finch that he learned how to dream, and then Finch realizes that the robot he created turned out to be a much more complex being than he initially thought, and it has already become a full-fledged personality.